Was UFC 306 a night to remember, or is it one you hope you'll forget? Before I get into the fallout of the card, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe as I have brand new videos every single week. So UFC Noche in the Sphere was set to be one of the biggest events in combat sports history, but it was filled with boring, slow-paced fights, technical issues throughout, and an underwhelming venue that did not translate well on TV at all. This was a dud of an event, but let's break down the card. But I'm only going to cover the last 3 fights because I'm a dirty casual and I don't give a fuck about the rest of the card. So let's start with Lopez versus Ortega. The writing was on the wall the second this fight started. Lopez came out strong, rocking Ortega straight away, slamming him down and throwing some big bombs, but Ortega defended pretty well and he managed to get in an armbar, and that armbar was enough of a threat to make Lopez back off and let Ortega get up. I thought it was going to be over there and then, but Ortega managed to recover incredibly well, and he did look a lot better moving into the second round. But Lopez just kept hitting him with the bigger strikes and he managed to sweep him to the floor and ended that round looking incredibly strong. And in the third, I expected a lot more from Ortega, but he did very little and got dropped by Lopez again, who jumped on the opportunity, took his back and ended the round and the fight in a dominant fashion. Lopez got the decision win, taking every round on all 3 judges' scorecards. Ortega's big issue though in this fight was he didn't try and get the finish himself. He seemed very much focused on point fighting. Even when he was 2 rounds down, there was no urgency when he came out into the third. He needed a big finish and he didn't even attempt it. You cannot point fight with a guy like Lopez who's hitting the bigger, heavier shots, so the judges are gonna put it his way, and to be fair, it's very well deserved. I'm very happy for Lopez here, and he'll probably be in the top 3 come Tuesday. In the co-main event, Grasso fought Valentina Shevchenko for the 3rd time. Every single round in this fight played out almost identical to the last. Valentina came out strong on the feet, mixed it up, and as soon as she saw an opening, she'd take Grasso down and dominate from the top. But Grasso had multiple submission attempts from the bottom, and Valentina looked in trouble countless times, but Valentina, the veteran she is, kept calm and simply just moved into a different position and got out of it like that. And like I said before, it was basically rinse and repeat for 5 rounds. Grasso just couldn't adapt to what Valentina was doing. She's clearly a skilled fighter, great on the feet, great on the ground, but her decision making in moment to moment was not good enough. You have to be adaptable to be a dominant champion. But Grasso lost this fight and Valentina Shevchenko got the decision win. And I wonder what happens next. Do we do a 4th fight between these guys? It's probably the fair fight to make, but it's not a fight I want to see. But the fight that I do want to see is the Magnum versus the Bullet. Zhang Weili versus Valentina Shevchenko, champion versus champion. That would be an incredibly fun fight. But I'll tell you what wasn't a fun fight. Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. This round opened incredibly weird. At first, it looked like Merab didn't have his mouthpiece in and was calling to his corner, but it turns out Merab was yelling at Tim Welch, that's Sean O'Malley's coach, but Herb paused the fight and gave both of them a warning. I'm not quite sure why Herb called a timeout. If Merab doesn't want to pay attention to the fight, that's on him, but Herb got involved a lot in this fight, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So, Sean came out in the first, looked pretty decent to start with, throwing a lot of jabs, coming in and out, stung Merab a couple of times, even bust his lip, bust his nose up, but then Merab got a big takedown in the middle of the octagon and took Sean down with ease. But in the second, Sean managed to throw out an armbar, but he put his fingers in Merab's gloves. Herb was quick to point this out, gave Sean a warning and put Merab back in position. So there was some decent reffing from Herb, but for the rest of the fight, he was genuinely terrible. At one point, Merab was kissing Sean O'Malley on the neck, and Herb came running over yelling, "Stop, stop." So what did Merab do? He stopped. He got up and started walking away. But it wasn't the end of the round, so Sean ran over and started hitting him from behind. Herb needs to stop getting involved. He was a nightmare through this entire fight. He kept telling both guys to work. He was incredibly vocal through the whole fight, and he even warned Tim Welch for overactive coaching. And at one point though, Merab threw an illegal knee at Sean O'Malley and Herb didn't say a word. Absolutely ridiculous. Herb Dean is becoming a terrible referee and he's always got over involved in fights. But Merab had a phenomenal performance and took Sean down every round and just dominated the entire fight. Sean genuinely looked terrible in this matchup. He barely threw anything. There wasn't a sense of urgency, and it just felt like he was on that Chito Vera tactic, just stand around and watch the clock drain away. It was crazy. I've never seen Sean fight like this. He was flat, he was inactive, and even when he was having success, like in the 5th round, he clearly hurt Merab, but he didn't follow it down. He didn't chase him down. He didn't try and get that finish. I think he'd have just put his foot on the gas during this fight. He could have found a finish over the 5 rounds. But that's it, done and dusted. Merab got the decision win, and we now have a new bantamweight champion. It seems likely he'll fight Umar next, but I'm not a big fan of that matchup. I don't think Umar really deserves it just yet. You've got to beat some real top contenders. One fight is not enough to give you the title shot. Though, a fight we'll probably got next, which I'm really looking forward to, is Corey Sandhagen versus Sean O'Malley. So, that's been UFC 306. Overall, an uneventful card, but at least we got 2 big title changes. Thank you for watching. If you can like, comment and subscribe, it really does help the channel out.